we've got major news right now. This has gone viral. Everybody has seen this with USAID, USAID, and the filth that has been pouring out of there this past week. And what we're seeing, there's been so much discovery on this, discussion, uncovering, exposure around the United States. So this Agency of International Development, okay, AID, Agency for International Development, and where billions of dollars, guys, billions of dollars in humanitarian, I'm going to put that in quotes, humanitarian aid actually has gone, been sent overseas. And now we're starting to get the uncovering of it. So the Trump administration has been a huge advocate in wanting to shut down this agency, USAID, as an independent agency and putting it under the authority of the State Department. And President Trump said that the USAID is being run by, and I quote, he said it's being run by a bunch of radical lunatics, end quote. And he's exactly right. As part of his first day in office, Trump signed an executive order pausing foreign assistance for 90 days. So listen to this. Some of these facts, taxpayer dollars, taxpayer funding for USAID doubled at the beginning of Trump's first term in 2017 to the end of President Joe Biden. So raising from $2.5 billion in 2017 all the way up to a whopping 42, I want to get that right, $42.4 billion in 2023. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, began to speak about this and called it just absolute rank insubordination. So Secretary of State Marco Rubio, concerning the USAID, is just called this rank insubordination, of taking the taxpayer dollars and just using this of what was called global charity. And of course, has absolutely been a slush fund for horrendous activity. The USAID employees have now been told this week not to come into the office and that the Washington headquarters would be closed. Both USAID's website and its account on X, which we know is formerly Twitter, has been taken down. 2 senior officers, they were placed on leave after refusing to allow DOGE, which is, of course, the new Department of Government Efficiency, overseen by Elon Musk. Their employees, they were saying they were not going to allow the Department of DOGE to come in to see the employees or give them access to files, including classified information. So they've overtaken that. They've removed those 2 senior officials. They've got it on lockdown, and now, folks, accountability is coming. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, and man, this lady, this woman, she's incredible. Caroline Leavitt, she told reporters that the agency has proven to be poor stewards of tax dollars. Now, she was being nice in that statement because, boy, Caroline, she's had the gloves come off, and she's absolutely no joke. She is bold as lions. So the viral clips now are going everywhere, and of course, you can fact check this. You can go directly to the White House website, where I have pulled this off as well, and just giving report to this on the torch. And this is important to where we're going because we're talking about shutting off the supply lines to the enemy. And this is a quote: "If you take a look at the waste and the abuse that runs through the USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that the organization has been spreading money on," she said. The USAID is facing this scrutiny after Presidential Advisory Committee, DOGE, led by Elon Musk, discovered and halted several wasteful payments from the agency, according to the White House. Here's a list. I'm not going to give you the whole list, but here's a list of a few of them concerning the expenses that were going out of the USAID. Some of these are just hard to read because it sounds like a joke. But it's not a joke, and nobody's laughing. Okay, so shutting off $50 million to fund condoms going into Gaza. Now, let's just pause. This is America's tax-paying dollars. Let the insanity just sink in for a moment. $50 million to fund condoms into the Gaza Strip. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Siberia's workspaces. $70,000 for a production of DEI musical in Ireland. $47,000 on transgender opera in Colombia. $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. 37 million to the World Health Organization. Of course, thank you, President Trump, for taking us out of the WHO. $2 million for sex changes and LGBTQ activism in Guatemala. This is insane. $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for nonprofit linked to designated terrorist organizations, even after an inspector general launched the investigation. Millions to the Eco Health Alliance, which was involved in the research of the Wuhan lab. Hundreds of thousands of meals that went to Al-Qaeda, infiltrated fighters into Syria. So we're not only aiding the enemies, we're feeding the enemies. Funding to print personalized contraceptives, birth control devices in developing countries. Hundreds of millions of dollars to fund irrigation canals, farming equipment, even fertilizer used to support the unprecedented poppy cultivation and heroin production in Afghanistan, benefiting the Taliban. Wow. Is this sinking in? It's unbelievable. And for those of you that are tracking, special thanks to Sean Ryan, on the Sean Ryan podcast, his show. He was one of the main whistleblowers that was on this, of the funding of the Taliban right out of the United States. And now we're having many more. And thank goodness for Doge that is coming forth. We need to rejoice, and we need to get this sealed up. Couple more facts on this. $16 million in funding for institutional contractors in gender development offices. $16 million. $4 million in funding for the Center of Climate Positive Development. $12 million in support for services to the Bureau of Resilience, Environment, and Food Security. $6 million in non-emergency funding for redundant administrative support for the Center of Excellence. $3 million for non-emergency funding to provide evaluation services for planning and learning programs. $600,000 to fund technical assistance for family planning in Latin America. I could go on and on and on. You can do the research yourself. I'm going to get to why this is important. Obviously, it's important, but I want to make some correlations here. You got Doge, you got Elon Musk, giving fresh updates on DEI related contracts now being canceled. And this is huge. I mean, this is fresh news today. DEI related contracts cancellation have just been released on X, which was formerly, once again, Twitter. And as of today, Doge has retrieved over a staggering $1 billion that would have been utterly wasted to DEI contracts, but have now been canceled. And everybody, watching this or listening to us needs to rejoice. Let's just be clear about it. This is not foreign aid. This is money laundering. That's what it is. It's not foreign aid. It's money laundering. We need to pause too. Listen, please hear this. As we see the exposure, we need to pause and we need to pray prayers of repentance and prayers of renouncing these corrupt practices to make sure that this never begins to happen again in our beloved United States of America. This has got to end. It's got to end. There's got to be a changing of the heart. Not just changing of policy. There's got to be a changing of heart. We can never lose sight of these words, friends. And it's exactly what Franklin Graham, of course, son to evangelist Billy Graham, said at the inauguration. America cannot be great again if America turns from God. How did all this happen? It's because America started turning from God and letting idiots and fools and rogue actors in that wanted nothing to do with God, that were nothing but God haters and God mockers, giving them a place of authority. And so, anyway, the point to all of this is accountability is here, but also accountability is coming. And it's coming greater. And thankfully, we're seeing the answers to our prayers, that leaders are being set in place. Leaders are being set in place that care about America first. They care about the stewardship of the United States money. And what are they doing? They are shutting off the supply lines to this toxic insanity, and bolstering our enemies. And my gosh, it's high time, and thank God. Our prayers are being answered, and as I've said many times, leadership is what matters. If you like this video today, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.